Trump is warning about here. Now, Trump is now issuing this Great Depression warning if a few things don't happen. Obviously, increasing the debt ceiling. In other words, we need to borrow more cash. We thought we were supposed to be cutting debts and deficits. Here he is saying that if we don't vastly increase the debt, we're going to face a meltdown, which would be worse than the Great Depression, which we're going to face anyway. So you really thought that we were going to be cutting debts and deficits when he wants to increase the debt? Again, you got duped. I get it. Whatever it might have been. It didn't matter who they selected as the creature. I've been telling you guys and girls this for years. You don't want to listen to me. For some of you think, I don't know what you really it's out there. But, come on, man. There's no way. If you believed for a second, really, honestly, in reality, I don't think any of you actually did. Frankie.
We are closing out the end of the year. And Trump says this, less than 48 hours before the end of the year. Amazing. Just amazing. And they know with everything that's going on between sports and entertainment and people catching planes and flying back and forth and all the tragedies we've been having, the average person is not going to hear that. Matter of fact, they might not even hear it or put two and two together until it's actually announced and put out there so much that you can't help but hear it. I just find it interesting. I stumbled upon it myself. I visit my man Greg here, frequently, a couple times a week. I'm like, wow. With this government efficiency, this Doge thing, they're supposed to be cutting, right? But Trump's like, hey, we got to spend to avoid. We have to spend to avoid. We've got ourselves caught up in a quagmire, people, because we've overextended ourselves. It's like, you're running a business, get that right, buy another business, get that right, buy a few more businesses. You do everything methodically, and all of a sudden, boom, you get greedy. You get sloppy, you get used to it. And you got somebody like the Federal Reserve or whomever to throw the dog a bone. That is, give you a loan, but yet the catch is it's going to have interest. And people, before you know it, you're really not the government of the people. Hear me. You're the government in relation to the lender. That's just the fact, people, because we have been in debt. Oh my God, I got a few books on this. Don't even let me try to think about it. When did America start borrowing from the Federal Reserve? Yeah, 1920s. And just think, the Federal Reserve came into fruition in 1913. And less than a decade later, we start going in debt. I have an actual book by a guy named Willard Cantillon. I just thought about, wish I had brought it up. But it has a list every year of how much debt we have accumulated since the Federal Reserve. Once upon a time, we actually had a surplus. Like I said, I put it in caps. Once upon a time. Debt isn't bad if you can pay it back right away. But when debt begins to stack up and you have all these circumstances beyond control, however you want to put it, and then you get comfortable with borrowing money on interest rates, and then you get creative with borrowing money and bonds and whatever and however, then you start doing the roosum-toosum with money. buying Peter to pay Paul. You know how it go. Well, if you just had managed and, took care of your obligations firsthand, wouldn't be in this position. But now we're here. Let's play it again because I want you to really soak this in. I'm going to build from this. It saddens me to think that, man, over 100 years ago, it was God bless America. Now it's God, please help us out.
Meet the problem moving forward, leading right into what Trump is warning about here. Now, Trump is now issuing this Great Depression warning if a few things don't happen. Obviously,
let's read it.
It's doing nothing but tricking the system into believing or thinking that it's more liquid than it is. We're already in a full-on liquidity crisis. You know that. But what's happening here is the Fed stealthily is reducing it, although just recently, I don't know if you can see the spike here, but the trend is lower. This is just going to exacerbate the problem moving forward, leading right into what
Donald Trump issues Great Depression warning. It had me floored, people, because I'm like, wow, why today? Why 2 days before the end of the year? And how come this isn't, as they say, neck-breaking headlines? Everything else is, but they're not talking about this. I'm speechless. I just fell into it. I'm like, I'm going to do a video. I'm going to talk about it, put some things together. And I'm asking myself, how can we get a hold of this thing? And of course, what I'm saying lately is endure. I would say this to you people. Don't think the powers did not know when to strike, when to put out information. They crafted just right. We're right after Christmas. We don't know what the Christmas sales were. Hopefully enough businesses can stay afloat and make it through March and April of next year. Because that's what businesses do. They pray that they make it through Christmas with explosive sales. If they do pretty good, they can get by the next year. But people, Trump is the perfect tidal wave to run any scheme that you need. Okay? I'm just keeping it real. Joe has already done his spectacular performance on the national and or affecting the world economy. He's already set the stage. He's just gonna run out, get on the horse and tip his little cowboy hat, run out to the sunset. Maybe his son would spend some money on him since he made all that money, right? Allegedly, whatever. Then Joe might write a memoir. Then again, hey, the way it's going right now, like I said earlier in my other video, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody, leaves us again, just like Jimmy Carter did. I wouldn't be surprised. You see, I study the patterns. I do the 5 C's of clues, codes, colors, confidence, time, and conclusion. Trump is the perfect one to start pulling off his alleged things to do list. It's like, come on, utilize me, the medicine will go down better, as opposed to having it with Kamala or Biden. This is how I'm waiting on it. This is how I'm looking at it, because the dramatization, the awaiting of Trump, the anticipation, the appetite, call it what you want to call it. You gotta admit, people, it was a buildup. It was a buildup. And many people are anticipating a sweet buildup. All the millionaires and billionaires, like I pointed out last week's video, coming to the trough of Trump, donate and invest in America. But you know, the funny thing is Trump is saying this today about the depression. But when the CEO was over here, less than a week ago, and he gave and promised Trump $100 billion, and then Trump tried to give him another $100 billion. Remember that? Remember that moment? Remember that? CEO gives Trump $100 billion. This was quite a moment, people. If you didn't see it, I want to play this for you because I want you to see something here. This is very important, the timing. I want you to understand this because I follow trends. And I'm sure you do too. Now watch this here.
SoftBank will be investing $100 billion in America, creating 100,000 American jobs at a minimum. And he's doing this because he feels very optimistic about our country since the election.
I'm now excited to commit this $100 billion and 100,000 jobs into the United States. This is double of last time, as President Trump said. Because I say, oh, President Trump is a double down president. I'm going to have to double down, $100 billion and 100,000 jobs. But one more thing.
So this is where we're at, people. This is where we're at. We're in a position right now where we're having to face the music on a timing basis when they deem necessary to show it to us. And of course, when he had the gentleman over, he didn't bring up that warning then, issuing Great Depression warning. No, he didn't say that. But they're telling us. Now, let me speculate on why they did this. It's not just because it doesn't look good and the rhythm is bad. People, they got two economies, y'all. But they're just not going to tell you, but I'm going to tell you. There are two economies. It's the one that they run in terms of the stock market, other little things that they do with bonds and things like that, trading, allegedly inside trading. And then there's ours with the Federal Reserve. And the spin. And people, I want you to understand this. When you was a kid and you got your toys, you were all elated, right? But when you got their yo-yo, you was like, wow, it fascinated you because you had it on a string. And it went down and it came up. It went down and it came up. It was like precision. People, they did the opposite to us 3 weeks ago, or whatever timing you want to look at. Once Trump was announced that he won on November 5th, everybody came running for like 3.5 plus weeks. Am I right? It's nothing new, but I'm going to call off the names. The Zuckerbergs, right? The guy from Elon Musk. Here he come. Here come Jeff Bezos. A slew of people and businesses. And what did the market do, people? I showed you that. The market went humdee crazy. And people just made money hand over fist. There's videos that I have in my repertoire. I wish I could find it now. Like I said, I just ad-lib and did the video. There's a video out which showed, let me see if I can pick this out. Let me see. Millionaires and billionaires made a lot of money when Trump won the presidency. There's a video that's out. There's a video that came out. I'm going to put this out here. I hate when it comes to me later on. This was 2024. See if I can do it. There is a video out. And it is, in fact, I put it on a video last week, I believe. You would be surprised how many people made money without doing nothing just because the name Trump was factored into our economy. Here it is right here.
Let's talk.
I'll let the commercial get out the way. I just want you to see it in part. Let me go down. Let me find it maybe in the middle here. I want you to just look at some names here, okay? I want you to look at the increases of money because I want you to understand what two economies looks like, okay? And don't get mad, but listen. I don't want you to get mad because you will get mad at these numbers. Watch this.
3.5 billion after a strong day of trading for Amazon shares, up 3.8%, maintaining his position as the world's second wealthiest day of trading for Amazon shares, up 3.8%.
So he went up 3.8% after Trump won. Watch.
Maintaining his position as the world's second wealthiest person behind Musk. Larry Ellison, the Oracle co-founder, is nearly $12 billion richer as his net worth jumped to $220.8 billion and lessened up the gap between him and Bezos for number 2 on Forbes' billionaire list.
Wow.
Warren Buffett, the world-renowned investor, saw his net worth spike $7.6 billion Wednesday, bringing it to $147.4 billion, with Berkshire Hathaway rising more than 5%. Brian Armstrong, the CEO of crypto platform Coinbase, has an estimated $11 billion net worth after a $2.6 billion increase Wednesday. The result.
Can you imagine making $2.6 billion, your company, on the stock market? This is what is not being taught. Stocks is the game. You got to have money to get in and know which stocks to get involved with so you can ride the gravy train when certain things happen. What happened in America and around the world on November 5th of this year was a moment that you have to get in the game because it's rare. I want you to understand that. Stock market picks, getting on the pony at the right time, is key. I cannot emphasize that any better. And you have to put yourself in position that when it hits, when that time hits, have your portfolio or whatever you're going to do ready. Because as you can see, you're going to benefit. We'll do one more. Check it out.
Result of a whopping 31% surge for Coinbase. The net worths of Robinhood co-founders Vlad Tenev and Baiju Bot climbed together, with Bots up $307 million to $1.9 billion, and Tenev
$307 billion he went up. I'm done. I'm so mad thinking about this. I just want you to understand, Trump is the perfect candidate for them and those in the know. But yet he does things on a timing basis because he don't want to spook the market. You guys ever heard of that before? You don't want to spook the market because there's a rhythm, there's a thread. So all these people came, a lot of these millionaires and billionaires gave money to Trump just before and after because they knew. And they had it to spend because they had just made a gain. Or they knew there was about them again. They knew they were about to gain. So it's a payback. And at the same time saying, look, I'm taking care of you. This is how I want the economy to go. And then Trump, after they made all their money, way before Santa Claus hit town. Understand what I'm saying? Now Trump comes out a few days after Santa Claus and he says, what I just showed you here. Let's look at it. I know it's deep. I just want to go methodically.
I mean it, but it is happening. And I'm going to show you something else in a moment. But anyway, he's 100% right. We are, in fact, in a recession, which is going to get dramatically worse on the back of artificially suppressed rates, possibly negative rates, currency, purchasing power destruction, and a much worse standard of living. Duh!
A much worse standard of living. So they just hit the throttle when the green light came and opportunity came, and you and I just sitting here, and then boom, Trump makes this announcement today, and our dependency is now on the Federal Reserve and Congress. And we're sitting back like, wow. They're going to have to increase the budget, people. They're going to have to do it. But know this, you no longer matter. Not that you did to a measurable point before I showed this to you. You don't. They've already set everything in place to lock themselves in with their economy. And now you have seen that we're teetering, and our future is in the hands of the Federal Reserve and Congress. And they're going to keep on trying to sell bonds and treasuries and going up on the interest rate, down on the interest rate, adding money to the debt ceiling. At some point, it will either implode or they'll put us in the one world economic system and a cashless society and a universal base income. That's the best way I can tell you guys. Now let's go here. Janet Yellen, who's been around forever, and all they do is do musical chairs with her. They have Janet Yellen go from one financial position on the world stage to another. Now she's a Treasury Secretary, okay? She used to be a Federal Reserve, right, back in the day? But she's been around forever. Listen to what she's saying in terms of this debt.
Back at home, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen warned Congress on Friday the U.S. will hit its debt limit within the next few weeks unless the government takes extraordinary measures to avoid default. The notification likely means the fight to pay the nation's bills will happen in the early months of the new Trump administration. During the recent battle to avoid a government shutdown, President-elect Trump said he was in favor of permanently eliminating the debt ceiling, but congressional Republicans did not go along with that idea.
What do you think? Should we eliminate the debt ceiling? I don't even know how to comment on that. I believe what we should do is take a hard look on how big the government is, but be very careful. You know, my truth, like I said before, I'm not in favor of messing with any of the social programs like Social Security, Medicare and Medicaid. When it comes down to education, you really got to prove to me that there's some fat there. Other than that, like I said the other day, I'm not trying to hear all this foreign investment. Education, use that money to invest in schools and trade and tech here at home. That way you can have more people for the job expectations in the future. That's my feeling, okay? Now, Trump on collision course with conservatives over debt limit. December 30th, 6 a.m. But like I said, this should be discussion right now. President-elect Trump is headed for a battle over the debt limit with conservative lawmakers who are demanding steep cuts to federal spending that will significantly cut Trump's ability to pass his agenda next year. 38 House Republicans sent a warning to Trump last week by rejecting his demand to extend the nation's borrowing authority for 2 years, casting doubt on Trump's influence over GOP conservatives. Now, is this reasonable? Has it been done before? I have to do some history check on that. If you know that it's been done before, then put in the comment section. What I will say is, I wouldn't be surprised if there's pushback by the Democrats or those who are one worlders, and they'll push back so Trump doesn't look good in his administration economically. What better way to cut off the legs of Donald Trump right out the gate than to hurt him economically? Conservatives now say Trump just went away. Conservatives now say Trump will need to agree to deep cuts in spending if he wants their support for raising the debt limit in 2025. Isn't that something? So they're basically badgering him. Have they done that the same thing to Biden? Is this why Biden, about 3 days ago, gave another billion plus to you know who? I mean, people, it's a game. It might be even 3 economies out here. The one I just described you, ours, in relation to Congress and the Federal Reserve, theirs, in terms of stocks and bonds and treasuries. And then you got probably this 3rd economy, where Biden and company just give money out like it's cotton candy at a circus. Oh boy. I want to show you guys something. I want to speak without speaking. I want to show you something. And I'm going to put this on a Rumble video. 1/20 of 2024 versus 12/13 of 2024. Back in the day, something happened on January 20th of 2020. You got to use your head. January 20th of 2020. I'm making it 2024 so I can show you something. Because something just happened on 12/13 of 2024. People are talking about it, but I can't. But if you understand these dates, it's a repeat. And guess what? The difference between what happened back in the day versus what just happened this month, 12/13, is exactly 47 weeks. And just like they're showing us our bad economy and their good economy on a timing basis, they're also showing us something that could hurt us and help grow their economy. Here's your biggest hint. They were essential back in the day. I'm Franchot Pearson. I'm sure somebody in the comment section will put it together for you. God bless.